So where do you start with Montreal's offseason so far? Do you talk about Corey Perry walking away to go to Tampa Bay, which just felt like the biggest kick in the gonads? Do you talk about Phil Deneau going to LA? No, you can't even. Because what the Montreal Canadiens decided to do yesterday, about, I want to say it was 36 minutes into free agency, was release a letter. Geoff Molson, the owner, put out a little letter in regards to the Logan Mailloux pick. Now, it was the first time they really sort of acknowledged Logan Mailloux's victim, which was far too late. Again, a reminder, we've said this multiple times, if it takes more than one statement now to sort of explain a draft pick, I don't want to read it, because here's the point that everyone needs to know. That entire letter is hollow. The contents of it don't actually mean anything. Now, is there some information, aka Logan Mailloux will not be at the rookie camp beginning of the next season? Yes, but I will read you the last few sentences because this is all you need to know. If you want to go and read it, go ahead. It's on the Habs site. It will be easy to find, but the message is extremely hollow because here it is. I repeat, our actions will speak louder than our words. We will work to continue proving we are an organization this community and our fans can be proud of. Lastly, I want to thank everyone that provided their feedback on this situation, including our partners and sponsors, so that this mistake becomes an opportunity to grow and raise awareness. Now, for those of you who do not know, since the Logan Mailloux pick was made, there was rumblings that sponsors with Montreal were going to pull out. The one that was really talked about was St. Hubert's. For those of you who don't know, that is a restaurant chain here in Quebec. In fact, if you've ever watched the Laval Rocket game and you're wondering, why is there a little chicken on the jersey in the corner and like a little patch? That's St. Hubert's. So, the Canadiens basically did this letter, buried it in the middle of the news cycle, the busiest day of the year, because of public pressure. So not even public pressure, because they were going to lose money. I know the tone in my voice is somewhat like this is comical to me. It shouldn't be, but it's just such a joke.
It just keeps getting worse. You know what I mean? They try the whole damage control approach, and you just spread the mess around.
I thought when I saw the letter, I'm like, phew, they've renounced the pick. And I read it and went, nope.
Yeah, to me, it was absolute bush leagueness. Like, how do you do that 36 minutes into free agency? 36 minutes into one of the busiest days, if not the busiest day of the year. They knew what they were doing. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, these are smart people who have been in hockey for many, many years. How long has Geoff Molson owned the Canadiens?
A while.
He knows how busy free agency day is. He is not a stupid human being. And I think just this whole I listened to Leaf Sour. They were talking about this situation Monday morning, JD Bunkus and Justin Bourne. And JD Bunkus brought up a good point. And it's brought up in the statement. So he's not coming to camp. But by drafting him alone, he doesn't have the actual proper chance to grow and prove himself. And we probably had that discussion on Sunday as well, but just because you're not bringing him to training or rookie camp, doesn't really that's cool, but you still drafted him. You know what I mean? Like, he said, I want to grow. I want to learn from my mistake, and I want to be better, essentially, is what he said. I'm paraphrasing here. Mm-hmm. So please don't draft me. And therefore giving him the opportunity over a full calendar year to do better. And the Montreal Canadiens stripped him of that opportunity, essentially forcing him to be in the spot, to be this and the entire situation be in the spotlight. And the situation, should be in the spotlight. It's a serious situation, but in the wrong context.
Daniel, anything to add, or should we move on to the signings?
It's just everything you guys already touched on, where they tried to bury it in a way. They tried to, it's the kind of thing, damage control I mentioned, where they put it in the busiest time for free agency, but it's at the same time, it's to show their sponsors like, hey, look, see, there's actually a paper trail now. There's evidence to say that we acknowledge what this pick meant, what it kind of means in terms of an image. And it's like a very subtle, I'm sorry kind of thing. But again, we're not renouncing the pick. We're saying sorry, but we're not actually atoning for the mistake.
You had if they had renounced his rights, and like here's the owner saying we're sorry, we've done this, we've done that. You could have saved some face, but you didn't. And again, you're probably wondering, people listening, why did they hold on to him? Because unfortunately, he's talented and he fits a need. And we're going to talk about another defenseman, Tony DeAngelo in Carolina, and it's further proof. It's hockey. It's a disappointing league, the NHL too. It really is. So looking at Montreal's offseason so far, first off, a trade must be coming because they have like $1 million in cap space, and Lehkonen and Jesperi Kotkaniemi need to be re-signed. Anyway, so out Phil Deneau, Thomas Tatar. I think all year, and especially once in that Leaf series, the moment he got out the lineup, he never saw light of day again. He's still on the open market. Teams like Anaheim and Colorado have been linked to him. You'd think maybe with Brandon Saad being signed in St. Louis, then if Colorado. I remember there were reports a few years ago, I think from Adrian Dater, unfortunately, that they were interested in the trade deadline in him a couple years ago. Anyway,
last year.
Right?
Wasn't it? Because Bergevin was in
Hold
Colorado.
On. What do we classify as last year? Is it the Canadian division year or the COVID shortened year?
The COVID shortened year, right? Okay. Remember Bergevin and was it Timmins? Were in
Mellenby, I think.
Mellenby were in Colorado,
yes.
And it was supposed to be was it a Petrie and Tatar? There was just this rumor swirling.
Harry Price was getting traded, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
Phil Deneau was the big one. Gets a $5.5 million cap hit for 6 years. He goes to LA. Now, the kind of weird thing that confuses me about the fit in LA is what did we hear all year? What was the problem with Deneau? He didn't like that he would be reduced to a third line role because of the emergence of Jesperi Kotkaniemi and Nick Suzuki. Mm-hmm. So the thing I'm a little confused about is, and listen, if you're behind Kopitar, like that's a wicked. Like those are some of the best defensive centers in the league.
Right.
But if you look at like Alex Turcotte and you look at Quentin Byfield and the younger guy, maybe not at that same caliber with Gabriel Velarde, it's sort of the same problem. So I'm a little confused. Like I'm not bitter. Like Phil, it seems to be even if Phil was disappointed, he seemed like, I loved my time here. But I'm just like, Phil, is this the right fit for you long term?
I think I have an answer. First off, I think going into last season, and I mean the North Division, you're on your last year of a deal and you're playing third line minutes. That's what the idea was coming out of the bubble. You're not going to get as much money is my thought process on that. So complain about it, I guess, and see where it gets you. And he played great and he got paid. Also, by the time that contract gets to the later years, he's going to be on the back half of his career where it's probably realistic for him to play third line minutes. That's just my thought process on it. I don't know if that's what he thought, but to me, when you have the financial security moving forward, playing third line minutes every night doesn't really matter.
Dan.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I was pretty surprised he went to the Kings because I know there was so much speculation of him going to Vancouver or wanting to go somewhere where, it was pretty thin down the middle. But for the Kings, what would be the expectation there now? Is like, does Alex Turcotte or does Quinton Byfield, do they go to the wing for now? And I guess that is kind of like a damage control kind of thing because they have so many centers now. And the way I see it, it just, he got paid pretty well.
Yeah.
A lot of security in that one. And he is a good player. Like, I think that he will fit with what the Kings believe they can be now after like years of saying like, yeah, we're going to be bad.
Mm-hmm. We'll go more on Phil when we get to next episode and the LA Kings, but I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Nah, it hurts, especially when he leaves for, I think it would totally be $3 million altogether because it was $500,000 more per term. Some of the moves Montreal do, obviously, Chris Weidman comes in. I think it was like $700K. Cedric Paquette, $900,000. David Savard, the worst kept secret in Quebec. It's the exact same deal as I believe it was Ben Sherratt, but no trade protection. And the big one, which was surprising but not really, Mike Hoffman. 3 years, $4.5 million is the AAV with that one. The Canadiens can't score. They have a bad power play, so they bring in a guy who scores a lot on the power play, but not much else.
Yeah, I like, for me, I don't know about you, I like the Mike Hoffman signing. I don't know what to think of the David Savard signing because I've seen people say, well, he's replacing Shea Weber. And then, but 2 weeks ago or a week ago, whenever we had that discussion about Shea Weber, the overall consensus was that it is going to be almost impossible to replace Shea Weber. So how do you declare this man Shea Weber's replacement?
It's more like and Bergevin himself said, it's like we're trying our best, but we can't. The big problem I see with the Savard signing, it's like, okay, so stay-at-home defenseman, big, tough, hard to play against. I'm like, great. The third consecutive summer of signing one of those. Mm-hmm. And you dedicate that cap space, and you're like, okay, so you have that physicality with three guys, and they're all much younger than Shea Weber was, okay? But it's like what? Like, you were never going to replace his leadership. Like, they can't do that. That's going to come within right now from guys like Gallagher and that. It's just like I feel like there were more needs. Like, for example, like, is Weidman's the hope on the power play? I'm like, what?
What?
Apparently, some people. Now, I should say it like this. Bergeron himself did not say that, but like, you have guys like Craig Button saying, "Oh, Weidman," because he had like 59 points in the KHL. But what's really funny is he had an even rating, and you're like, okay.
Is he going to play? Like, when I saw the Chris Weidman signing, well, my first thought was the Uber video, to be honest. But
yeah, same.
My second thought was, is he going to even get in the lineup?
Burr said that he's not giving him a spot. He has to. But it's okay, so you've needed a third pairing right-handed defenseman for how long? He's going to have the inside track, but he's not been promised a spot pairing. Like, again, he only makes $700,000. You're like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's
the
so
Savard signing was the wrong one, though. That's not a puck mover.
You only have Jeff Petrie now, who's every play now is going to be the only one getting at it through the blue line.
Yeah.
I already know what your answer is going to be, but was there someone else out there that you would have preferred over David Savard?
Well, okay, yeah. So on the open market, Sammy Vatanen is sitting there. Third.
I thought you were going to say Dougie Hamilton, but
obviously Dougie. Yeah. It didn't even sound like they approached Hamilton, which is like, okay, whatever. I would have given him Seth Jones's deal and would have said, okay, this is fine because he does everything. He's like the best all-around, one of the best all-around defensemen in the league. But no, so like Sammy Vatanen is just sitting there, right? And it's like third pairing guy could have slotted right in. But there's a guy who has a year left, and there was whispers that he wants out, or not that he wants out, but that Dallas have talked about trading this player. It's like $5 million, I'm pretty sure. Great for the power play, as all Swedish defensemen are. And I'm like, do what you need to do and try and see if you can get John Klingberg out of Dallas. That's a guy I was looking at. I'm like, you don't say, because the Stars aren't going to. No offense, you look at the West right now. I'm like, the Stars? No. I just I'm thinking John Klingberg. Open market besides Hamilton, they were going to go after. It's more trade route. Not to mention the Habs need a center because Cedric Paquette ain't filling in the third line center.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. Like, what are they gonna do now for the bottom six? Because again, it's like that rotating thing now of so many so many wingers in the top nine. Like, where's everyone gonna stack up?
Well, that's another problem is if you ignoring Hoffman, one of like Anderson, Gallagher, Toffoli, Drouin is outside the top six. So if you have Hoffman, Anderson, now two of them are out. Like, listen, there's depth, and then there is guys need their minutes to do the thing they do, and that is to score and to play, right? So there must be a trade coming. Again, you can't go into next year as your center depth being one of like Paquette or Evans, Paling, Kotkaniemi, and Suzuki. There's not enough experience there. So the big kind of issue, and if you're asking me how do you feel it, Arizona are trading everything right now. Just go get Christian Dvorak, please.
Is he a center though?
He is, yes. Like 60% or just under that. Really good two-way guy. I've been very much on this. Like for like $500,000 million with some term. And like there are guys in Arizona saying that like the Habs have had interest. So like, do that or pay the price, because here's the thing with Bergevin. Every year, when good players aren't available, and when they are, you gotta try it. Do it. Go get Eichel. I don't care if he needs surgery and they're garbage this year, and the pick turns out to be like a lot. I do not care. Or it's not going to be because they're not as bad as Buffalo or Detroit or like Anaheim. No offense, Daniel. Go get Jack Eichel. I don't care what it costs, unless it's Caulfield and Suzuki. Even so, it's Jack Eichel. People need to stop doing this stupid thing of, oh my God, Eichel makes so much money. Oh my God, I don't want Jack Eichel and give this up. It's a quality top centerman in this league. Go get him for the love of God.
It's ridiculous. The conversation around Eichel is, again, we had that discussion at the 5-minute rant there. It's all about cap space. Like, it's Jack freaking Eichel. I get, he's in Buffalo and he hasn't looked great, but man, like, just do it. Just go get Jack Eichel. Like, someone go get Jack Eichel. I get you don't want to pay the high price, and I'm sure the price is astronomically high. But like, to say you don't, and I'm using the Rangers here as an example because they're the team that we know about. To say, for the Rangers to say, we don't want to give up Niels Lundqvist or Braden Schneider is baloney. It's baloney.
Yeah, none of those.
They're never going to be. Yeah, they're never going to be anything close to what Jack Eichel could be.
Or even the way they're set up, they're not going to play in the top four anytime soon.
And by the way, before anyone says anything about what about his net, we know about his net. This is all in the situation of we know the solution to that. So shut up. This is a talent that just, again, this is a guy that if McDavid wasn't a thing, goes first overall in like any other draft. And they have treated him like crap from the moment before they drafted him. He was a consolation prize. Like have some, you want to play in a real market, come to Montreal. I mean, we don't look great now because the Hoffman backs their own and Chris Weidman in the Uber. And then it's like, there's just obviously complaining about your boss in Uber is in nowhere near what Logan Mailloux did, but at the same time, everything Montreal are doing right now is like, so you hate everything. And it's like, God damn it, you ruined this team's reputation.
Before we move on from Montreal, I'm just curious, what is the expectation for Jonathan Drouin? Like, is he not in terms of his play? I mean, in terms of, is he going to be back with the team? Because I know that was up in the air. And then I thought I read Bergevin saying the expectation was he was going to be in camp.
Yeah. So at the end of the year, conference is like, Price is getting surgery, but he'll be okay. Weber's probably done. He did say he expects Jonathan Drouin to be at camp. Yeah. But then I just kind of thought, Bergevin's a liar.
That is true.
I'm like, God, he's going to trade him, isn't he? Because it's like, remember, we're not trading PK. We're not trading Alex Getcher. We're not making a trade, Eric Stahl.
And it would add up considering bringing in Mike Hoffman, extending Joel Armia. Like, you sent me that, or you sent the group chat that photo of Montreal's lineup. That's without Mike Hoffman, right? So you got to take someone out and put Mike Hoffman in there.
Or use one of your wingers to get a centerman or a puck-moving defenseman.
That too.
Yeah.
Venture up, because if Washington get a pair of seconds for Brendan Dillon, you could get the sun and the moon.
Yeah.